For decades, Tanya Tucker's fearless voice defined country music. But behind the platinum records and roaring applause was a life marked by heartbreak, addiction, and relentless public scrutiny. Many believed her story was over long ago. They couldn't have been more wrong. The truth about how Tanya Tucker lives today is far more inspiring than the rumors and headlines ever revealed. For years, Tanya Tucker's life has been surrounded by stories that blurred the line between truth and speculation. One headline celebrated her remarkable comeback, while another focused on the struggles that nearly ended her career. Some believed she had quietly stepped away from music. Others assumed the hardships of her past had finally caught up with her. The internet only added to the confusion, recycling decades-old stories until many fans could no longer tell what was real and what wasn't. But Tanya Tucker's journey has never been as simple as the headlines suggested. Behind the tabloid drama was a woman who entered the spotlight as a child, long before she had the chance to experience an ordinary life. Fame arrived almost overnight, bringing enormous success, but also relentless pressure. Every achievement was celebrated in public, and every setback became front-page news. Yet the most important chapters of her story weren't written by gossip columns or viral rumors. They unfolded quietly, away from the cameras, where the real battles were fought. To understand how Tanya Tucker lives today, we first have to uncover the truth about the life she almost lost and the extraordinary comeback that few people believed was possible. Tanya Tucker's greatest challenge wasn't staying famous. It was surviving the price of becoming famous too soon. At just 13 years old, she stunned the country music world with Delta Dawn. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Instantly becoming one of the youngest stars the industry had ever seen. While most teenagers were discovering who they wanted to become, Tanya was already performing on national television, touring across the country, and living under constant public scrutiny. The success was extraordinary, but so was the pressure that came with it. As the years passed, the spotlight became increasingly difficult to escape. Every relationship, every mistake, and every personal struggle turned into headline news. Her highly publicized romance with Glenn Campbell drew enormous media attention, making her private life a subject of endless speculation. Behind the scenes, however, Tanya was fighting battles few people could see. She later spoke openly about struggling with alcohol and substance abuse, admitting that the lifestyle surrounding fame had pulled her into destructive habits. There were moments when it seemed the remarkable career that had begun with so much promise might be remembered more for controversy than for music. But that's where her story took an unexpected turn. Instead of allowing those difficult years to define her legacy, Tanya made the decision to confront her past rather than run from it. She gradually rebuilt both her personal life and her career, earning renewed respect not because she claimed to be perfect, but because she was honest about her failures. That authenticity resonated with audiences in a way that polished public images never could. And just when many believed her greatest achievements were behind her, Tanya Tucker proved she still had one more remarkable chapter left to write. Behind the awards, sold-out concerts, and decades of success was a woman searching for something fame could never provide: peace. Tanya Tucker had spent most of her life in front of an audience, growing up under bright stage lights instead of living a normal childhood. As the years passed, the pressure to remain a country music icon became heavier, and the emotional toll quietly followed. While fans celebrated her powerful performances, few realized she was carrying the weight of personal struggles that no amount of applause could erase. Rather than hiding those difficult chapters forever, Tanya eventually chose honesty over image. She openly acknowledged the mistakes she had made, the addictions she had battled, and the painful lessons she had learned along the way. That honesty became one of the most inspiring parts of her journey. Instead of pretending she had lived a perfect life, she showed that true strength comes from confronting the past and finding the courage to begin again. Her remarkable comeback proved exactly that. In 2019, after years away from the spotlight, Tanya returned with While I'm Livin', an album that earned widespread critical acclaim and won her the first Grammy Awards of her career. For many artists, recognition arrives at the beginning of success. For Tanya Tucker, it arrived after decades of perseverance, reminding the world that resilience sometimes takes longer to be rewarded. Today, her legacy is no longer defined by the headlines that once followed her every move. It is defined by endurance, authenticity, and a lifelong passion for music. Tanya Tucker's story reminds us that life's greatest victories aren't measured by how high we rise, but by our willingness to stand back up after every fall. That is the legacy her fans continue to celebrate, and it is why her journey still resonates with audiences around the world. Just when it seemed Tanya Tucker had finally found stability, life delivered another unexpected twist. Instead of slowing down, she experienced one of the most remarkable career revivals in modern country music. In 2023, she was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, a recognition many fans believed had been overdue for years. It wasn't simply an award for her chart-topping hits. It was a tribute to her resilience, her influence on generations of artists, and her refusal to let personal setbacks define her legacy. Today, Tanya continues to perform, record music, and connect with audiences who have followed her journey for more than 5 decades. She no longer has anything to prove. Rather than chasing fame, she embraces the life she fought so hard to rebuild. Looking back, the biggest surprise isn't that Tanya Tucker survived the challenges that once threatened her career. It's that those very struggles became the foundation of one of country music's most inspiring comeback stories, proving that true legends are remembered not for the obstacles they face, but for the strength they find to overcome them. Tanya Tucker's story isn't one of perfection. It's a story of resilience, redemption, and refusing to give up when the world expected her to. Sometimes, the strongest legends aren't those who never fall, but those who always find the courage to rise again. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to Legend Discovery for more true stories behind the world's most unforgettable icons.